What's up, people? Orseofkorse here, coming at you with another Paragon deck build. In this deck build, we're going to be going over my boy Steel. I'm just going to go over the cards that I use in my rationale. If you want to see the deck in actual play, come join me for a live stream. I will show you it live. Now, I'm running Steel, Order, and Growth. The reason that I go Order, of course, is because I'm playing on support, and I think having wards is just super viable right now, and it's always been viable. Now, first card that I go with, of course, is the Lamplighter. Lamplighter, 300 gold. It allows you to play Shadow Wars on the map. It gives you 2 charges. I think this is very important if you're going to play support. Make sure you put wards up. Yes, you can get around not having wards if you're playing a team that maybe isn't very coordinated or also isn't running wards. But if you're playing a team that's coordinated and they're having wards, you put yourself at a disadvantage right off the jump. So I say always make sure you got those wards down. Now, Exoskeleton, I think this is a great card if you're running growth on anybody just about. Since they reworked it, it's just excellent. You regen 30 health over 3 seconds after taking damage from an enemy hero. As Steel, you're going to be there, you're going to be up in people's faces. Having any extra regen, any extra sustain is just going to help you that much more. So I say always go with this card. And it has a cooldown only 6 seconds, so you can get back a ton of health over the course of like a 30-second or a 60-second fight. You know what I mean? So it's worth it. Flame of Zetchin. I like this card because it allows you to get Feng Tooth a little bit easier as the carry support combo. The 7 attack speed is whatever. It's not crazy. But this card right here, the active, it costs 50 mana, and you deal 400 true damage to a neutral or enemy minion. Damage increased by 100 with each use. Damage will be reset to base value on discard. So even though it's 3,000 gold, as you're leveling up your points and all that, it'll go down to 0 or get pretty close to where you can afford it. So I like this card for that reason right there. Makes you get Fang Tooth all that easier. If you have a jungler that's going to rotate and help you as well, it can go lickety split. Green Spring, this card right here is very good, especially if you're going against most carries, right? Revenant might be the exception because he can also deal a lot of ability damage, but most carries are going to be doing a lot of basic damage, and this card right here, especially paired with Exoskeleton, will allow you to get in there and really mix it up with people. The 20 basic armor will give you that good mitigation, and then if you do need the retreat, you get the 8.4 health regen when you're out of combat. So let's say you do hide under tower, you'll be getting about 10 regen or so, or a little bit more, because you're also going to be having healing towers on if you follow the gems that I'm using. So very good if you pair with healing towers. Now, Brilliant Fortification. This is one that is completely optional, and I only build it if the enemy team is really pushing on us, or if we need, if we need to defend our towers like really badly. This card gets you the 12 power, which is good for still. The 72 mana, which isn't as important. But for 75 mana, all structures are immune to damage for 7 seconds. If you're getting pushed on really hard, if the team is very coordinated, the enemy team that is, you might want to invest in this card just because it'll keep your towers up that much longer, and give your team time to rotate and maybe defend towers. So this one's optional. I think it's a great card. Is it as viable on steel as maybe some other supports? No, but I still think it's worth grabbing if you need it. A growth totem. Once you get 9 points, I say go ahead and grab growth totem. If you get 8 points and you got 500 gold to spare, go ahead and grab growth totem. It's a great card, and it'll just give you that power and, more importantly, that health that you need to be a tanky support hero as we get closer to mid and late game. So I think this card is it's invaluable. It's going to be one of the 3 that I keep in my build all the time. So I definitely recommend growth totem. Now, as we get down here, we're starting to get to where we can get a little more fluid with the build. Let's talk about Flag Bearer first. If you can be more aggressive as Steel, like let's say you don't need to be quite as tanky or quite as defensive, Flag Bearer is a great card. It gives you the 29 attack speed, which has you throwing those punches super fast. And then more importantly, the passive. Nearby ally minions gain 150 health and 10% movement speed. This effect doesn't stack. In the passive, you gain 25 basic damage while near ally minions. So very good card because it helps you put pressure on whatever lane you're in, right? You and your carry, that is. Your minions are moving faster, they're a little harder to kill, and you're also going to be dealing some good damage. So it puts that pressure on that lane, makes the jungler rotate, which opens up some opportunities for your teammates. So I really like that. If you can be a little more aggressive, that's a good option. Now, as we go over here, we're going to have Malik's Grace. Now, This card right here gives you 455 health. If you're going to play a little more defensively, this is a good card to go with right here. Um, Not just because of the health though, also because of the active, the shield link. Shields yourself and target ally hero for 25% of your max health. Now, Steel can definitely rack up some health, so this isn't a bad card to put on him. And it will allow you and your carry to have that extra survivability in case you do get in trouble, you do overextend a little bit. This will give you that chance to suck up a little bit of damage. So I really like Malik's Grace for that moment. Now, Yami Guardian. This is a more defensive card, so if you're playing still defensive, Yami Guardian is good, especially if they have like some brawlers and like maybe their carries hitting very hard. This is a good card to have. The 12 power is great. The 240 health is good. Then the basic armor, awesome. In the active, nearby ally heroes gain 100% chance to block 100% or 100 basic damage. Excuse me. So that right there, when you're playing against a lot of melee champions, a lot of basic damage, that card can save your life and the life of your allies. Pair that with Malik's Grace, you're going to be sucking up a lot of damage. They're not going to be able to do a lot of damage to you right there, at least in basic damage. Now, Sacred Alchemy. This is another one of those cards where if you can get it, if you can afford not to be quite as tanky, and you can get a little more offensive, this is a good card to go with as well. The reason I say that, the 18 power gives you that nice bit of damage. 20 attack speed helps with that. 240 health is great. You want health. And then the shielding strikes. You deal or you gain a shield based off 20% of the basic damage dealt. Now, still isn't going to be hitting like like a MUrdock or anything like that, but he does deal some pretty good damage. So if you can be more aggressive, this is a good card to go to because it gives you that defense and being offensive. So if you don't need to go super offensive like Malik's Grace or Yami Guardian, this is also a good card. Especially if you pair it with like Flag Bearer, you'll be hitting really fast. Um, Next we have Trapper. This card is great, especially if you and your carry are fairly coordinated. This card doesn't give still any defense, but it will allow you to set up great kills for your carry. On top of your ultimate, and then you hit them with the shield slam, and then they have Trapper. They can't get away from you. So if you don't need to build super tanky, this might be a good card to go with, especially if you pair it with Flag Bearer, because you'll be dealing damage very quickly. That'll give you over 50 attack speed right there. What? That's like 61 attack speed or something like that. So you'll be doing pretty good damage, and you'll be slowing people down, hitting them with the snare. Last one is Unbroken Spirit. This right here is the CC meta. So this card, I always put it in my builds just in case I need it, especially on supports and like more tanky heroes. Simply because if they have a team of hard CCs, you might want to put this card on. Yes, it doesn't give you much damage and ability armor and all that, but it'll be a good card and it'll probably keep you alive because you every time you get stunned, you're gonna get back 2.5 max health. So I say go with this card if you need it. The build that I usually end with is Growth Totem, Trapper, and Flag Bearer. But when I do need to play more defensive, I end with Yami Guardian or Malik's Grace, or I'll swap Yami's Guardian for Unbroken Spirit if they have ability damage, a lot of ability damage, or very hard CC. So that's how I'm building Steel as far as cards go. Now, when it comes to his actual gems, I go with the Auto Health Potion simply because it gives you that extra regen. I go with Wealthy. Earn the 5% bonus gold. I know a lot of people don't like this. They don't feel like the 5% is worth it. But as a support, you're going to fall behind pretty easily sometimes. So I go with Wealthy just for those games where, it gets where you don't get the farm up too much. But most of the times you can probably make it. So if you want to go with Ruthless or the speed boost one, you can fast travel. You can go with that. But I just choose Wealthy. That's my preference. I go with Healing Towers, Damage Reduction, and Shredding Strikes. Now I'm going to talk about Shredding Strikes. The reason I go with that because more than likely you're going to be with somebody that's dealing physical damage most of the game, meaning Sparrow, MUrdock, Twinblast, whomever. Shredding Strikes is going to allow you to hit harder and it's going to allow them to hit harder. So I love going with Shredding Strikes. And then the last one I have is Auto Shield. You gain 100 shield for 4 seconds when you fall below 25% of health. I like putting that card in there because it just allows you to stay in the fight a little bit longer. There's so many times where I've been just about, dead. Then I get that auto shield, and then my bonk comes off cooldown, and then boom, we win the team fight. So I really like that card just for that extra survivability. It becomes less potent late game, but early game is pretty good. So those are my thoughts on Steel and how I'm building them. If you like this, make sure to drop a like on the video, share it out. Somebody else might like it as well. Also, tell me in the comments, who's your favorite support right now? Mine used to be FaZe and Decker, but now, no, and Narbash. But now I'm moving over to Faye and Steel. Those are the ones that I'm enjoying playing. A little bit of Richter too. Rick Daddy's alright. But tell me who's your favorite support right now. People, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you're new, make sure to hit that sub button. This is Orseofkorse. We'll see you in the next video or live stream. Thank you for hanging with me. Peace, 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 peace.